What will I bring to this team?
Yeah.
Again, energy. Again, the kind of mold that I think coach wants to, has been doing, and what the Knicks have been doing, and what he wants from me. I think I can really excel in. I bring versatility, defense, energy, a little bit of that nasty. So yeah, I can't wait.
You left the team with, like you said, with a deep roster. This team also has a deep roster.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Have they talked to you about what your role is going to be and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we've talked a lot, and I think again it's just seizing whatever opportunity I get. And I think one of the reasons why I picked New York is, again, it's a very deep roster, a lot of really talented players, and again I think it's a pretty cool opportunity to just watch and grow from that too. Again, I still think I'm young, so just being around players that have established themselves and have done a lot of stuff in this league, I think is it's a crazy opportunity for me.
So it's less about playing time, more about the veterans you can learn from, kind of thing. Is that what you're saying?
Not really. I think it's a mixture. And I do believe in myself, and I believe I can do well on the court too. But I think again I look at it as a bigger picture, and what's happening here, I think I can be a part of and just grow in general. So that's why.
What was it like meeting your first practice and meeting your new teammates? What was it like for you?
Yeah, it was great. Again, like the way I see it was very natural. I think I embody what Mike Brown is asking from his players, and I'm a quick learner, so I think I've been doing pretty well.
A lot of the Spurs guys, they seem to post stuff on social media in the aftermath of that, saying they're gonna miss you and this and that. What do you bring to a locker room just as a teammate?
Yeah, again, the way I view everything is team first. I'm always gonna be there for my teammates on and off the court. I'm bringing energy, positive vibes, and I think that's the most important thing, and consistency. And whether that's on the court or off the court, I'm gonna be myself every time. So,
do you have a position that you
power forward, but I feel again, even talking to coach, I'm versatile. I can do a little bit of everything. So again, whatever coach wants me to do, whatever gets me on the court, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it my 100%.
To be where you were early for all rookie, all that stuff, and to have what happened this season, how surprising was that for you?
Yeah, it's tough, in my whole career, even like looking past the NBA, I've never, just been sitting on the bench and getting DMPs. So, you go through a process of, questioning, why, or, what's happening. It can get stressful, but at the end of the day, I came from England where basketball is not, big. So, I know my worth. I know what I can bring to a team, and I'm blessed that the organization here has seen that, and I'm just super excited to just get a fresh slate and show what I can do. So
kind of with that, everybody's path is the same, and is that something that part of that battle or whatever, as you weren't playing and obviously being a top 10 pick, that you had to accept or become okay with?
100%. Again, like I think I've known that not everyone's path is the same. Just from how I grew up. I'm very global. I played basketball in a bunch of different countries. So I kind of already knew that part. But I think it's human nature to question and ask yourself why things happen, and you kind of realize it's not always in your control, and what's most important is staying or trying to stay in the present moment and do what you can control, and that's your energy, the way you work, the way you listen, and the way you just grow, mentally, physically, and all that. So again, I think I embody that part, and the moment I was in San Antonio, I think I was very professional, and I was staying ready. I never got the opportunity, but it is what it is, and I'm now here, and I'm super excited.
Did you have any relationships with any of the players already in this locker room?
Yeah, I know Jordan Clarkson pretty well. He's from San Antonio, so I know him and his boys pretty well. And the rest, again, it's just during the games really, talking shit a little bit, just joking around, and then just shaking it up after the game. OG's from England too. Josh supports the shit club, Chelsea.
I'm a Tottenham fan.
Oh hell no! So I've had my moments with everyone, and like even Pacom. We played at the same club in Germany, so it's a real small world, and I know a little bit of everyone there. So again, I think it's been very natural.
Yeah, I think we had talked before the draft about Draymond being a guy that you admire and want to be like. Is that something you still aspire to be that kind of personal defender and a little bit of a nasty?
100%. I think at the end of the day, I want to be Jeremy. I want to be myself. But again, learning from greats like that who embodied a role and stood by that. And again, you've seen how successful Draymond's been by doing his role and staying in his lane, and that's being a versatile defender. And also versatile on offense, looking and being able to see the vision, and he always brings that nasty too. So again, I look at players like that, but at the end of the day, I want to build myself and be Jeremy.
I know you said there was a lot of interest. How many can you share? How many teams?
I wouldn't be able to tell you fully.
Right.
Again, that's my agent was having those conversations. But I think again, like New York was always at the top, and I really had really refreshing and really good conversations with the organization, the front office, and coach. So again, I was always excited about this opportunity.